Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we take a random story idea and develop it into a story. What do we have today?
Okay, today's idea to develop is Mega-Corp finds a dragon egg. So we're
Sounds like
getting
fun.
to cross some fantasy with either
Some
Modern day.
modern day
Or sci-fi.
or sci-fi.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be modern day. Which way do we want to go
So
with
should we
this?
go with dragons being some kind of ancient monstrosity that naturally just went into hibernation for like 4,000 years or something?
We could
We
probably
could.
do that.
Well, we could make dragons just be dragons, but I mean, think about this. What would happen if suddenly some big business right now found a dragon egg?
Well, let's see.
I mean,
Dragon
only a
meat. We're gonna
sim-
start a new industry. Oh,
The
Okay,
problem is that
Yeah,
it
but
said
that's not
a
sustainable.
dragon
dragon,
egg.
it's
Okay.
a dragon
One
egg, so
dragon.
we don't have.
Dragon.
Unless we want to clone a bunch of dragons, I don't think
Unless-
dragon meat
or-
would be the industry.
Well, it's possible that it turns out that dragons have a reproductive system similar to what was it called? The New Mexican whiptail?
No, I'm pretty sure dragons reproduce sexually.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Glad we've cleared that up.
yes, they don't split.
Hey, neither does that lizard. It's a lizard.
Parthenogenesis.
Exactly. Thank you.
All
Okay.
right, let's assume that they don't do that though.
So
All
we
right.
just have one dragon.
So are these beast dragons or mystic dragons, like
Now,
with knowledge,
mystic-
wisdom, and
Well,
magic?
if
and
it's
other
raised
things?
from birth by Mega-Corp, it probably doesn't have ancient wisdom.
Probably not.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
if we could mix this with a sci-fi and fantasy mix
Yeah.
where you get someone with some cloning technology who would want an army of dragons, although I don't know why you want an army of dragons when you have spaceships with massive weapons or things.
Simple. We just go a little more sci-fi or fantasy with our sci-fi.
Okay, and do what?
Okay. So this basically what I'm thinking about is the idea of having it so that these dragons are species that naturally move between planets.
Okay.
Oh.
You know,
So
kind
they
of like
have
how
their own
you'll
spaceships.
you'll have stuff like
So
I don't
dragons
know, the
are
swarm that
spaceships.
they'll make living spaceships, or how you'll just have some race that has magic and then just lifts a rock into space, like in D&D. You could have it so that the dragons are just a species where each individual can easily fly into space and then go to the sun.
Space dragons.
Well, okay, so
or you could give them portal magic and then
regardless,
That's a lot
there are. The question is, what would Mega-Corp want the dragons for?
Yeah. What would a mega
depends on what the dragons can
Either,
do.
I mean, dragons are great at combat. So if you were like a mercenary corporation, then a dragon
Mhm.
would be incredibly useful.
Mhm.
But we could
dragon meat? Clone it. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm
Only if you
Um,
get mystical properties from
No,
eating the
here's the
dragon.
thing.
That was
There's other things. Like,
Interesting.
okay, let's face it.
Do dragons have magic?
If dragons were to suddenly appear in our modern day, what would be the thing you'd try to sell from them?
I would sell dragon rides
Exactly.
at a
Yes,
theme park.
Imagine you could have an entire corporation with as much money as Disney's put into Disney World and Disneyland. You could imagine
life dragon.
a real life dragon
and put a whole theme park around the dragon
Fantasy
and
theme
a fantasy
park.
theme park, and that could
Even
make
if
some
everyone
money.
else is just dressed up in costumes, your real dragon.
Yeah, just
would
having
be,
one real dragon suddenly makes that theme
Right,
park so much
especially
more
if you sell
authentic.
Mhm.
dragon rides.
And you
Oh,
could
so
sell
we
those
aren't going
rides
with
for
an evil Mega-Corp, okay.
ridiculous prices.
Yeah, you could. Okay,
Okay, so just to double check, does that mean we're not going with the classic evil Megacorp?
Well,
still be evil.
it could still be evil. We'll
okay,
still figure that
the
out.
whole question is, there is nothing inherently wrong with saying I have a dragon and I'm going to sell rides for it and it's going to be in a park and maybe it really enjoys being in this park. Who knows? So who's our villain?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is there are multiple ways you could take this. I was just
You
saying
could
that's
make
also a
Megacorp
possibility.
the villain. You could make a rival corporation the villain. You could.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, if I found the dragon egg, I would go with a theme park. But if, let's say, a drug cartel found the dragon egg, they would say,
Would
let's
use
use
it to
this
smuggle.
and combat, and let's burn our enemies to the ground with this flying flamethrower.
And hey, who knows? Maybe things that are burned with dragon fire are actually more toxic or
Well-
something.
Just make dragon fire basically napalm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I was going with use the dragon fire in the drugs, but yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you can,
that works too. But here's the thing. Now, corporate sabotage. Because, let's face it, if this is a one-of-a-kind resource, and yes, I'm calling a sentient being a resource in this case, but that's how Mega-Corps think.
Are we certain it's sentient? Probably.
Most
a
dragons
dog
are at
is.
least... Yeah,
Okay.
most
the
dragons
level
are-
of sentience. I
most
guess I'm wondering.
dragons have at least a...
An animal
some
sentience.
right.
And
bare minimum
often
dog,
more than that.
but often above human. So I maybe like half as smart as a human maybe for this one. I don't
So
know. Whatever
something
we want
like
to do.
parrot levels of intelligence.
Yeah, that or maybe full human or more intelligent. Who knows? The point that
Mhm.
is that everyone would want it, not just one corporation would want it.
Yeah,
This
oh
would
yeah.
be and especially if there aren't multiple dragon eggs, because
Mhm.
if a whole bunch of dragon eggs are found, then people will be trying to get any of the dragon eggs. But
Yeah.
if there's only one,
Yeah.
that one is super powerful.
Important.
Mhm.
Could you have corporate sabotage where maybe your corporation that first finds the dragon egg starts building a theme park and stuff, and then their rival starts coming in and trying to, because if your dragon uh if your dragon puts people in danger, that's the end of your park.
Yes.
Another
ruins
thing
your
you
park.
could do is you could have somebody, when the dragon's young, kidnap the dragon
True.
because
We could still be in the early stages of development where people are still fighting for the egg and the baby instead of,
Mhm.
have the dragon mature and then fight
Well,
over it.
most of the fighting would happen around then, because once the dragon grows up, and especially if it has near human intelligence, it's going to go,
It's going to have its own opinion.
oh,
It's gonna
you
say,
want
"You're
me
not kidnapping me."
I trust you.
I could. Good barbecue.
That lovely note.
So, but when the dragon is small, I just
A
Okay,
lot more helpless.
so we have somebody who finds a dragon egg, and then the competing megacorps want it, seeing the potential to
Mhm.
get it. Who's our hero?
We could have the dragon be the hero.
That is
You
possible.
could,
the guy
It's
who
nice
first
when you
found
have
the
a
egg.
human.
yeah,
It's nice when you have a human
Yeah, I think you
protagonist
need
so
a
people
human
can
in this
relate to
one.
the human.
I like the guy who first found the egg.
mhm.
He found it. He started to raise it. He had some friends get together, and it was like, hey, yeah, we could do some things with it if we raise this dragon right. We could not only raise this dragon really well, we could make money. We could do all this cool stuff.
Okay, as soon as we just get him and his friends wanting to do this, we're not a megacorp, so we're against our problem.
Okay, yeah, good point.
So why don't we make him actually work for this mega corporation? And
Mhm.
he's you could do a couple of different
Well,
things.
if you've got him employed by the Mega-Corp, then especially if it's found in, on company lands or something, then he's legally obligated to cooperate with the corporation, even if he doesn't necessarily personally.
like what they're doing,
That
they're
is
shooting
interesting
it.
because
Right.
if he thinks the
Because
dragon,
there are legal ramifications to taking something that shows up on your company's property and doing what you think is right with it without consulting the company.
Uh-huh.
So that could be an interesting.
what could be really interesting
Depending on how
is if
adult you want
he
the-
thinks that the dragon should be used peacefully, but the Megacorp thinks it should be used aggressively, and so that could be another source of conflict.
If
Or-
they're going, hey, this thing's. We've looked at how sharp
Or it
this
could be
thing's
his
claws are. They're
Megacorp
sharp
thinks-
as obsidian blades, and they're stronger than hardened steel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or you could go with his Megacorp is good, and there's an evil Megacorp trying
Yeah.
to. But regardless,
Could have the Megacorp be good, but still I mean, you
Not-
would still require
you
some
can have-
negotiation or
Oh yeah.
you know.
Just because you have the Mega-Corp itself be good doesn't mean that there aren't people in it that are going to not be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and that's
so
another
you
big
have
thing
people
is you'd
within
have
the corporation who are trying to use this dragon
Mm-hmm.
for underhanded reasons.
or
Yeah.
sometimes or some of them are just trying to steal it and sell it because let's
Mhm.
face it, I could work for 100 years and I still won't make as much money as I would selling that egg.
That's right.
Fair enough.
Probably.
And once I sell it, I can just run away
Or
to a
selling
different country and the
information on it.
Megacorp can't do anything.
Yeah, sell information on the
Sell
egg.
information. A lot of places would
Well, and
pay good money for
if your
that.
main character finds it, but the coworker wants to try to take credit for, I don't know. You could have some interesting.
And then you could also,
definitely
as
have
a
some
secondary
fighting.
story for this, not only have everyone fighting over this dragon, but also have your main character be the one who raises the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just
Yeah.
gives it that personal touch. He's not just fighting for this
Well-
dragon over here, but his dragon.
Yeah. Well, what if the dragon was sent to him for a reason? It wasn't just a random encounter. The dragon was actually sent to him for him.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a
For
good
one
question
reason
too.
or
Where
another.
did this dragon egg come from? Was this a dragons went extinct and there's just one egg and it takes it? Or are there other dragon eggs? Just because they
Potentially.
found one dragon egg doesn't mean there aren't
more.
others. Here's another thing you could do, and you
That
could
is
either do
true.
that with modern day, or you could do this with the sci-fi if we wanted to go there. I know we're not solidifying this, but there could be more dragons, and so now there's kind of a race to find the dragons,
other
and different
dragons.
people are going to try to exploit them. But of course, the dragon doesn't want his race exploited.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing is you could say that the dragons have nearly gone extinct due to knights and heroes fighting them every time they
Every time
attack
they burn down a village or eat the
two
cattle.
villages or
Also,
something.
Also, there have been stories where only dragons can find other dragons. So
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a possibility. So then the dragons
I mean,
went
you could
into
just say
hiding.
that dragon. You
Yeah.
can't find other dragons because dragons can slightly shift dimensionally
So that
can
you
learn
can
how
only
to do
find
it at
them
least.
if
So
they want to be
Yeah,
found.
So
Okay,
they can only find them if they
But then
want to
why
be
would
found.
this one egg go to this guy? And that's probably because
What if
well, if we go with something like that, then the reasoning is basically just the parents died, and so the egg was abandoned because they had died for some reason, and this guy was just the one lucky enough to find it.
or oh sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
you could have
Get a test.
you could have had a human family make kind of a pact with dragons at one point
Mm-hmm.
and form an alliance, a friendship, and a bond. And so this dragon egg was sent specifically to this man because he's a descendant of a dragon friend. He's
Yeah.
basically considered friendly to the dragon.
Yeah.
They needed to share.
If we combine both of those together, what we get is basically the dragon parents were dying, and they
Okay.
went, okay, we can't just abandon our egg, and so they go and they
They
use some kind of magic to go, oh, this is the
Yeah.
bloodline that helped us in the past,
Yeah.
and send the egg to
Or
him.
Well, because to a
It
dragon, they could have been personal friends with his great grandfather,
Yeah.
and they're
Which
just like,
could-
oh, he looks
And
just like
my
him.
great.
So one thing you could do if you want is you could actually have the dragon egg mailed to him by his
Interesting.
great grandfather or somebody has had this egg, and he lives someplace way foreign, but he's
Mhm.
getting old and he knows this egg is going to hatch soon, and he's been watching it, and it's been being passed down in their family and kept very secret. So he mails it to him, but mails it to his work address. And so
address.
the company says, "You came to the company, we have rights to it."
I mean, legally, you could argue that they have some legal right to it if it should. I don't know.
I don't know
how
if you can or
exactly-
not.
I don't know. I think it works
Somebody
better
need-
if it just shows up on company property, like right behind his car type
Well, because
thing.
the dragons could send it to him and he could
Why
have
don't
it.
you have it so
work.
that he's just casually working, doing his paperwork or something, and then suddenly there's just a bunch of sparks appearing in front of him with a little bit of lightning, and then suddenly just an egg pops out of nowhere and lands right in front of him,
And
You could do
doesn't
and
multiple
he's just
ways.
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that works slightly better because it gives
Okay.
the company a lot more of a claim to it, and
Right, to
also
say this
if
is
it's
ours
if
'cause
if
it
his
showed up on
grandfather
our-
were mailing it to him, I don't
would
think
have
he.
his name on it.
Yeah, it would have his name on it.
yeah.
Which
Okay.
would be a harder legal
It's-
leg to stand on.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but if it just
So-
appears in front of him, it's just like, oh, what do I do with it? What is this even? I've never seen anything like it.
Which
Okay.
could be fun because then your company isn't the bad guys in the sense that I don't think that his company is trying to do something nefarious, but they still kind of feel like, okay, this is our egg, we get to have a say.
Well,
in this,
and you
but
can
popped
then-
out
have
of nowhere on
somebody
company
in the
ground.
company doing something nefarious,
You
and you
can.
can have rival companies doing something nefarious. So
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
get some strong villains.
Mhm.
It's easy to throw in a love interest because he's going to have coworkers. He's going
Oh,
to
yeah.
have the girl next door.
Place romance is always exciting,
Well,
right?
you can always have the girl next door who's going to help him raise the or just somebody
That's
that
true.
whoever he wants to meet. So it's going to help
Yeah,
him
you
raise
have
the
plenty of
dragon.
opportunities for
So,
old stories.
What are the odds
and,
that the
other fun?
what are the odds that magic used to exist, but it came from dragons, and so after humans used magic to hunt them down enough, the dragons ended up just going, you know what? No, we're just gonna leave.
That would actually be a cool way to kind of explain all the magic and historical tales and stuff, and also say why we don't have magic during the story.
Mhm.
And so
Because
it could
magic
be
is
a
leaked off of dragons.
yeah, and so that way
You
it's
could
like
actually have the main character learn magic.
that
That
would
is a
be
possibility.
interesting
Good.
to
yeah,
give him some cool ability.
or to learn some cool ability
Right.
through the
Mhm.
story type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
From
it
the
had to be
dragon.
something minor though.
Yeah.
I'd say probably something like, I don't know, healing.
Mhm. Or some
Like
kind
sparks.
of charm.
Oh yeah, sparks is fun.
Persuasion.
Sparks.
Sparks are
Very dragon.
Okay, so do you think we have this?
Yeah, I think so.
fun. I think so.
I could probably write it. Maybe.
I would need a lot more development because I've got my mind going a bunch of different ways. Going, well, what about this and what about this? And
We
could
need
you-
to settle on like specifically what things are. Just
Uh-huh.
like make some decisions.
What are the
because there's so
corporations? What do they actually do?
Mhm.
What would the other corporations want to be using the dragons for? There are still a lot of unanswered questions. We, don't have time to explore this and really get it right.
Develop
But we've
everything.
given some ideas. So
Yeah, but with how it is currently, I could quickly settle everything and have a story plan out.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I think we could.
And I think if we did it, we'd all do it very differently.
Oh yeah.
Oh, almost certainly.
I mean, for one thing, we'd all choose different genres.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. I probably would go sci-fi fantasy on this one. Just
I could see you doing that.
Yeah.
I'd probably
Okay.
stick more to the fantasy.
yes. All right. So have
Have
fun,
any
get guided,
suggestions?
and yeah, give us suggestions in the comments because there's still
And
a
then
lot
we'll
to
add
fill
more
in
in
on
the hat.
this. Huh?
And if you have more ideas for prompts, we'll add them to the hat.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Alright, so put
See
those
you
in the
next
comments
time.
and see you later.